Chef Pierre arrived in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso with 12 bags of imported flour, deterioration van named La Resistance, and secret ingredient, French guilt. He set up shop outside a university and began handing out free millefeuille, chocolate eclairs, and baguettes with tiny French flags in them. The youth were skeptical. Student 1 asked, "Is this a distraction?" Student 2, "I heard croissants have microchips now." Student 3, chewing thoughtfully, "If colonization tasted like this, maybe we would have stayed." Word reached the palace. Advisor called, "Sir, there is a Frenchman feeding students. The croissants are buttery. Morale is dangerously high." Traoré stood up. Traoré said, "Take me to him." In front of a crowd, Ibrahim Traoré approached Chef Pierre, who was flambeing crepes while giving a motivational speech in half French, half confused Moray. Chef Pierre said, "France loves you. Let us be flaky together." Traoré replied, "Do you know what your country did to mine?" Pierre again said, "I only cook, sir. I am but a humble servant of flour and fate." Traoré asked again, "And they sent you to restore imperialism through pastry?" Pierre replied, "They said it was diplomacy." A la carte. The tension could be sliced with a butter knife. Suddenly, a small child tugged Traoré's uniform. The child said, "Sir, can I have one more croissant, please?" He looked down at her, then at the crowd. The people were laughing, eating, not fighting. He sighed. Traoré commanded, saying, "Let the baker bake. But tell Paris, no more buttered nonsense. They want relationship, they start with respect." Chef Pierre nodded, already rolling dough. Back in Paris, Macron was fuming. Macron said, "He didn't fall for the croissants? Then send the artists." He deployed a cultural envoy of one painter, one spoken word poet, 2 retired philosophers, and a mime named Jacques. They performed at a theater in Ouagadougou. Mime Jacques mimed colonial guilt. The painter drew Traoré as a lion. The poet rhymed imperialism with schism while holding a globe. The reviews were mixed. It was like watching France apologize without actually saying sorry. Traoré didn't attend. He was busy rebuilding a rural clinic. He said to his Minister of Culture, "If they want to say sorry, they can say it in clean water and functional infrastructure." Finally, Macron wrote a personal letter. "Dear Captain Traoré, you have spirit, you have courage, and, unfortunately for me, you also have principles. We may never see eye to eye, but perhaps we can walk side by side, minus the chains."
His room in Paris. At the very top floor of the Élysée Palace, where the chandeliers are crystal and the carpets cost more than some African national budgets, President Emmanuel Macron sat, brooding. Behind him, a giant, wall-sized digital map of Africa pulsed gently with red, blue, and blinking orange lights. Right in the center, Burkina Faso blinked. Black. Aide 1 appeared and said, "Sir, the situation remains unfriendly." Macron shouted, "Unfriendly! They chased out our troops, seized our embassy, renamed their streets, and just last week, their defense minister publicly called me a buttered ghost." Aide 2 echoed, looking up from a file. "Technically, sir," he said, "a buttered spectre in Gucci." Macron muttered something in French that rhymed with merde. He stood and tapped the map. Macron voiced again, saying, "We need Traoré back. Not as a friend, maybe, but as a neutral. If Russia gets him, the rest of West Africa may follow. And then, poof, no uranium, no influence, no bragging rights at G7 dinners." Aide 1, looking nervously, asked, "Sir, should we deploy troops?" Macron replied, "No, not yet. First, we send croissants."
Operation Croissant is a go!
In Ouagadougou, Captain Ibrahim Traoré was in his signature look. Military fatigues, maroon beret, unbothered expression. He stood in the presidential compound courtyard, staring at the latest French delivery, 40 crates of artisanal French croissants. Golden butter knife, engraved with Vive la Coopération. A bottle of vintage champagne, wrapped in a ribbon that read, "To the Revolution," but with elegance. Traoré asked, "What is this?" Aide-de-camp, checking a note, replied, "France says it's a gesture of peace and shared carbohydrates." Traoré dryly said, "They think they can bribe Africa with flaky bread?" His advisor leaned closer. The advisor called, "Sir, they're not even warm." Meanwhile, back in Paris, Macron had another idea. Macron stated, if they won't listen to soldiers, maybe they'll listen to soufflé. They summoned Chef Pierre Léon, a celebrity pastry artist, known across Europe for his dangerous puff pastries and televised temper. Chef Pierre asked, "You want me to cook in the Sahel?" Macron replied, "You're not just cooking, you're rebuilding an empire."
P.S. Did you like the croissants? Emmanuel. Traoré read it, smirked, and scribbled back. Dear President Macron, your pastries are sweet, but sovereignty is sweeter. If France wants partnership, come not with flour, but with truth. P.S. Tell Jacques the mime to stop sending videos. Traoré stood before the press in a final press conference. He began before the press. Burkina Faso welcomes friendship, but not from the top of a croissant, not wrapped in wine bottles or poetry. If you want our trust, build with us, not above us. He paused, then added, and please, stop sending baguettes. We make better bread here. In a small bistro in Paris, Macron sat with his foreign minister. Maybe Africa doesn't want what we used to offer. Maybe they want what we never gave. Equality. Macron nodded slowly, then whispered, "Cancel Operation Croissant, and someone please bring me actual coffee." In the end, France learned what many former empires are still learning. You can't colonize dignity. You can't bribe destiny with pastries. And Ibrahim Traoré, he doesn't bow for butter. He carries a broom and a backbone. This is a satirical fiction crafted to entertain you. It is never a real stuff, but we only need your support so we can give you a better and interesting visuals. Please, subscribe. God bless you.